Just want to show you. I'm going to do an update on Nancy in a moment. I want you guys to know what happened when I was up at Catalina State Park in Arizona, north of Tucson. It's so hot driving home. I thought I would fill you in here while I'm trying to cool off in the great Canadian outdoors. It is a gorgeous area. Okay, so I'll tell you what I was discovering at Catalina State Park. Okay, so I arrived June 10th. By the 13th, I was in Tucson, ready to go. And I really didn't start officially searching until Mandy the medium had arrived. Well, mind you, I did my own inner city exploration. I did my own looking at some of the details that Nancy said if she was taken from her home 23 minutes north. I did some videos in the car, timing according to distance, clock, and speed limit. I did do some videos. Those will go up. And I also got the information from Nancy that the perpetrators would have turned right out of her driveway. I also did that route, and we felt that they took Orange Grove Road west. So I did that route, and I'm going to start posting those videos so you guys can see what the train looked like, how easy it was to get in and around Nancy's place, even in the dark. I thought the roads were very well marked. Okay, but going back to Catalina State Park, I believe we finally got there on Tuesday. So a week ago Tuesday. And right away, because as you know, I think Nancy is buried in red earth. It's actually kind of hard to find red earth around Tucson. There was none downtown. Mandy had some areas she wanted to look. I know she kept thinking that Nancy could be at washes around her home. I absolutely did not believe in that theory whatsoever. And I just go on the spirit itself. When a spirit appears to me, there is no reason for them to fabricate or lie or misinform. So I just will never believe Nancy is close to her home. She's not in the washes around her home. No. So in search of red earth is really what I was doing. Now, Catalina State Park, knowing rangers would know their territory very, very well. I used all resources as simple and straight up. I asked the wardens of the park, anywhere in Catalina State Park, do you have red earth? And the immediate answer was no. So we continued anyway, because the terrain that we were seeing, as far as I'm concerned, the terrain I was seeing in Catalina State Park was definitely reminiscent of the visuals that Nancy has given me when she describes everything looks the same around her burial. So we still did a couple of paths, and I know Mandy kept wanting to get to the top of every mountain, but I kept saying no perpetrator is going to carry a body to the top of any mountain. So I was just not willing to waste my energy going into places I blatantly knew Nancy would not be taken. So I just did my own follow spirit. Now, this is what is very interesting. I'm talking to you on June 28th, and I'm referencing what was happening. Let's see, that would have been the 10th, 13th. So somewhere around the 15th and the 16th is when we really started boots on the ground searching. And again, over those 2 days for the inner city areas that we covered and Catalina State Park, I was drawn to Catalina State Park because it is within the 23-minute to 28-minute information that Nancy gave me. So that's why I was, and it is north of her property, so that's why it was still a highlight. Also, when my sister and I had done tea leaf readings, we kept seeing bride and groom imagery. So we wondered if one of the perps, let's say like perp 1 or 2, Are they married to a woman also involved in this? Were they recently married? It just seemed like there was sort of like a couple. There was a couple. That's what we kept seeing. But sometimes you don't take it literally. Sometimes you can take it figuratively, metaphorically, symbolically. What was interesting about Catalina State Park is there is a bridle path. And I continually have seen that horses are around where Nancy was held. I want to call it ranch style, but I also want to call it stables. I really feel that there could be stables close to or on the very land that Nancy could have been taken to. So that's a consideration for me. That's why I was really focused on Catalina State Park. And what was interesting about us being there is two really cool things happen there. And what I usually like to do is, if I've been given visions or information from a spirit and I'm going to follow it up, there's usually some kind of confirmation, affirmation, symbol given to you by the spirit world through an animal, through a bird. Oh my gosh, sometimes people just read license plates and they say that's the message. But in any case, I do find that if I get visions, I'm waiting for those confirming moments, because you'll see them in nature. I will see them. So that's what I was looking for. What I can say about Catalina State Park, I did like the way nature responded. Okay, when we finished doing one of the loops, the main trail, we got back to the car, and what was really interesting is the tree directly beside me all of a sudden had two cardinals appear in it. And what was incredible was, as a photographer, believe me, I've photographed birds many times and they can move very quickly. And even with the great camera, sometimes it takes a while for your camera to click on and you're like, oh my God, the bird flew away. So I was looking at these birds and I was asking them, please don't leave yet. Because here in Canada, we have quite a reverence for cardinals. They can be here in winter, which is astounding. I'm not sure why they would want to stay here if they know how to get to Catalina State Park. And what we always look for is cardinals pair up for life. So if a male cardinal appears at your bird feeder, usually you'll see a female come the same moment or within a day. Sometimes the male goes out, just make sure it's safe. That's what I've really seen. So coming across the cardinals at the car in the one tree that was beside me, here I was groping for the camera and trying to get it on, and I was able to get some really good close-ups. I kept asking them, don't leave, and good close-ups in focus. They're on my Facebook pages. And what I loved about that on that day is you can't help but wonder, the way we look at cardinals here in Canada is any bird will be a messenger. Any bird can be a messenger from the spirit world, right? But specifically, we revere cardinal in such a way that if you see cardinal, yes, it's a spirit trying to communicate with you, but more specifically, it's a spirit from the other side that you would have known personally. It's not just the spirit world collectively speaking. It would be someone you know trying to get messages to you. So the fact that those two cardinals stayed, one was female, one was male, just looking at me, I loved it. And I couldn't help but think, could it be Nancy and Charles? Because I have definitely known that Nancy is with Charles, and that would have just been the most beautiful symbology if true. Do we know? No, I do not know. But this is what I want to share with you, because I believe I talked about that in one of my videos already. But this is what I've come to think after the fact. Were they just a confirmation that Nancy and Charles are helping? Is it confirmation that we're still being protected by someone I know from the other side? Very possible. I know a lot of couples over there. But since then, and because I've already gone to so many other places on the search physically around Tucson, north and east, and honestly a little west as well, I keep saying it's red earth. And honestly, I still haven't seen a lot of red earth when I went out looking. So it helps me narrow down where I think she truly can be. Going back to the Cardinals after a little consideration here, it made me wonder, could the Cardinals have been sent because they're red? Yes, they're messages and messengers, but could they be sent because she's truly in red earth? And if you look at how bright red those Cardinals were, especially the male, unbelievable how red our Cardinals are. And I'm saying ours because I believe we use them as a bit of a, well, is it our bird of Canada? I should actually see about that. Spiritual people certainly feel that, I'll tell you. So I'm going to take you down here to watch a lovely Ontario sunset. Let's just see if I can turn around here with you. Oh, another day is slipping away. Let's see if it lets me adjust light. There we go, it's a little better. Okay, well, I want you to know that I'm double tasking those Cardinals. They really could be a confirmation that we still have to keep looking for red earth. Now, what I have noticed is when some of the YouTubers and investigators recently went down and searched for Nancy, what I noticed when they were reporting after the fact, none of them are giving where they searched. Now, that kind of bothers me, because if you have gone boots on ground to try to really find Nancy in that state, any corner, why would you not divulge where you were looking? Especially if you've had to leave the state and can't continue. There needs to be like sharing of information. Okay, so Catalina State Park, very important. I still think there's, you know what, I know it's red earth, so maybe Catalina State Park needs to just be put on hold. But the reason I'm still keeping it on a side burner, even though it doesn't have the red earth, we got too many symbols. When we walked the Bridal path and I came to where the Equestrian metal gates are on that grounds, you know, we were alone. Well, in fact, Mandy wasn't even there. I sent her up a beautiful path because I kept seeing deers, and I just said, go over there. You're going to be amazed at the beauty. And I went to the equestrian area. Nobody was around. And the interesting thing along the Bridal path where the equestrian area is, as soon as I was taking photos of the equestrian area, this beautiful condor appeared and it started to circle around, and that's a really beautiful symbol. I've worked with condor, dancing with the Mexica of Mexico. When we wore our regalia, I actually wore a set of condor feathers in a lot of the ceremonial dances that I did. And so condor is something else. And it circled and circled and circled. And what I was aware of is, because it's already been my medicine, I take that very seriously. It's one of my helpers. Well, what was interesting is it didn't appear anywhere else in the park. It didn't appear on the other paths. It didn't appear where the Cardinals were. It appeared in the equestrian area. So I tried to get a really good photo of it, but it was way up in the sky. So I did not get a great photo, but I did get a photo. And photo or no photo, it was amazing to watch it circulate and circle. And I still have to take it as a sign that I'm on the right track with looking for a location that does have horses, not just cattle. It could have cattle, it could have stables, it could be ranch style. I'm still stuck on that. And going through areas north, west, and east. Oh, I better be careful. Oh yeah, sure. I've dropped everything. Oh yeah, right. I have to remember where I put everything, including my keys. Oh, right. It's over here. Okay, so Catalina State Park. Magical. And honestly, even Mandy and I at the end of it, I have to say, there is something just so magical and exceptional spiritually about that park. And we felt it. First of all, we felt it was an accomplishment to finally do that much searching in a day. We actually did 10 miles. Well, Mandy did 10 miles going up the mountain. I did less than that because there was no need to go up the mountain. Anyway, she loved it. I still loved being at one with nature and listening to it. Deers appeared to me, and gosh, they were so quick. Of course, I couldn't even get photos, but it was sublimely magical. I felt that energy changed us. We both felt it. I felt changed. I felt it the whole week. So I'm telling you, if you are ever in Arizona, I know everybody speaks of Sedona. I'm sure it's amazing. But Catalina State Park has its magic. So that's the best I can share about that one day. It does not have red earth. But it feels like we're getting confirmations to keep looking for red earth. And I was still looking for stables. So I'll fill you in more. I'm going to be catching up to talk about each and every search, what the helpers were, who appeared, just feelings when we were at certain locations. But yes, okay, so sunset. I'm going to get back and continue my journey to my own home. And it was as hot as Arizona today in Ottawa. So I have shed some weight, I'm sure, with just the sweat that has dripped off my body. Okay, so I hope people in Arizona are keeping very cool. I will have the windows down, and I will have another update for you probably each day this week. And until then, peace out. Have a lovely day or evening wherever you are.